All right, welcome everyone. Phillips, also known as Journal Artista, and today is day number 29? 29 over on the Journal Artista channel, going live. I've missed a couple days here and there. I was busy yesterday jelly printing a lot, so I've got a lot to show. I'm going to try to sort some of this stuff before we get going. I can put some of this stuff, well, yeah. Well, I better keep it though, because I might get questions. Ah, man, sure. Hi, Christy. How are you today? Hopefully my stomach doesn't growl too much at me. It just growled, but we won't be long anyways. Hi, Carrie Ann. So when I say I jelly plated, I mean I jelly plated. All right. Just get myself organized. I've got pages everywhere. Some of the ones we did the other day. And that book. Some of this is for dosage. Some of these pages. Hey, Jamie. Good morning. Hey, Mel. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? I've already segregated some of this stuff for Joyce, so I better keep the Joyceage section separated. Some of these. I still got that. I still have. Excuse my grammar. I'm trying to correct that. I still have that pain in my back. That knot. Mary Beth gave me a good idea to use it like a ball, like a tennis ball in a sock, and kind of roll against the wall to like ease the knot. So that's helped a little bit. But man, just every once in a while. So all this jelly plating, you guys know, I never art standing up, or very rarely. Never. I probably never. not rarely, never. But yesterday, all of this that I did yesterday was all standing up because my back, and I don't know right now if I should try to sit down or not. I guess I should. We're just doing a show and tell anyways. Whew, too much to look at. This is distracting. I used up a whole bottle of Moonshadow Mist from the other day, the Crow's Nest Copper. Well, not the whole bottle. It was down to like there. And I used it up, and then I added some more water, and now it's just a little bit left. Like I filled it up again halfway because there's still some mica and stuff inside. Oh my God. Anyways, I've got gesso going on over here. I don't know why. I used a whole bunch of inks. And, well, we'll talk in a moment. Let me sit my butt down. Move some of these stencils here. Hello to everybody coming in. Hi, Gail. Hi, Tess. I apologize if I'm really close to the microphone. Oh, it's past midnight. Well, thank you for being here. Hey, Joan. Hey, Tori. Hey, Jonna. Hi, Eileen. So good to see everybody. So yesterday, as we all know, it was Blackout Tuesday, so I didn't stream, and I spent my time. I honestly spent my time educating myself and really focusing on, revisiting some black artists that I've admired and I put off watching. So I caught up a little bit with my friend Ophelia Staten. Now, Ophelia and I go back for like 10 years. I think we met on Flickr. And Ophelia, she sent me some Happy Meal when my ankle was broken when I on the couch, and some Paris stuff, some stuff that I absolutely treasure from way back. Anyways, so you might know her, and probably Eileen knows, from Jerry's Artorama. She used to do Mixed Media Mondays on Jerry's Artorama, which is the channel over here on YouTube. Hi, Julie. Hi, Jen. Good to see everybody. So I've been reading what's his name? Austin Kleon. His book Steal Like an Artist. I haven't been reading. I've read it twice. And one of the things he says is that, things every day make you angry. You go online, you get angry, right? And boy, did some things tick me off yesterday. But instead, what he says, go ahead, get online, get yourself all fired up. Instead of firing back, with tweets and receipts and all that stuff, log off. That's one of my favorite channels that I support. What my job says, log off, boo boo, and get busy. And that's what I did yesterday. So I watched. First, I watched Ophelia Satin on Jerry's Artorama for her Mixed Media Monday. Wonderful woman. She just made me laugh. She's on the struggle bus, and I'm like, ah. She says she's driving the struggle bus. I'm like, I'm on the struggle bus with you. So it was so good to watch some of her stuff on there. And then it led me to remembering Patty Tully Parrish always talked about Robin McClendon. Am I saying her name right? I apologize if I'm not. So Patty says that she jelly plates in a totally different way than I do, which is true. But after I watched hours of her videos yesterday. So her Robin McClendon here on YouTube. Is it spelt with a Y? Maybe one of my mods can put a link in the chat for me if that's helpful. Anyways, she really inspired me. This much inspired my friends. You'll see. You'll see. So I watched hours of her stuff. I kind of arted along with her with my jelly plate for literally hours. So that's why I have my inks out, and she uses a lot of the Sumi ink you'll see on her plate, which I've never tried before. I barely use Sumi ink ever. I remember Sammy Harding, Journal Girl here on YouTube, told me to buy Sumi ink like over 10 years ago, and I bought it. It's still the same one. It's a oh no! I don't want to craft a lunch of my watercolor palettes. Anything else but the watercolor palettes. So I really enjoyed watching Robin. I went on Robin. Thank you, Patty. Wait, do you see what I've done, my friend? So I watched her for, hours yesterday. The whole one of her whole playlist, her Jelly Decks playlist. I watched the entire thing at 1.5 speed. No offense, Robin, but I watched everything at 1.5 speed. If you watch long videos, my friends, that's one of my biggest tips. Maybe not me because I talk fast, but thank you, Eileen. So Patty mentioned her, Patty Tully Parrish here on YouTube a while ago. Remember back in November? And I kind of bookmarked her, but I never visited it. Well, I kind of only arted for a couple weeks and I fell back off. I fell off again. Anyways, we'll not talk about that because that phase is over. So I thought yesterday, like I said, I got fired up. Instead of firing back, I logged off, boo-boo, and I created. So some of this stuff on top is going to be for joyceage, and I'll go through that first. Hopefully my camera will cooperate. I know she has a Patreon too, and I know Patty's on her design team. I forget what it's called because I was catching up on it. I watched a whole playlist of the Jelly Decks thing, so I'm trying to catch up on this stuff and go backwards and try to, go from there. It was fun. The video I just ended off on, Patty, was the one when she did your PTP, what I call PTP Goldie Bits, where she uses the gold foil. Although I didn't use any gold foil. You'll see here. I'm hyped up on caffeine today, my friends. So if my hands are shaky, that's why. Plus, I did some jelly plating in here, and I might be high on some fumes. Anyway, just kidding. So really, all I used was, we'll go when I talk about, dang it, I have to start. The first thing she made me do was put watercolor on my plate. So you'll see some of these pages. I think I'll have to go by order of what I did it. This is for Joyce. I'll keep Joyce's off to the side for a moment. I worked in comp books, no surprise there. I think I'll start by where I started. So she was doing her jelly deck. So she had all these like cards, right? Rolodex cards. Are they called Rolodex cards? So I found some 90-pound cardstock, or this might be 110-pound. Oh, Eileen, you are so sweet for giving Patty those stamps. Really, that is so wonderful. Hey, Sean, happy birthday. So she, instead of, so I found that stack of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, Staples cardstock. I think it's 90-pound, might be 120, I can't remember, or 110, whatever they sell. I figured if I jelly plated on these ones, oh, some of these are the old, I did 2 sessions. I did one this morning, which is more my style of crusty bits, and I'm trying to show you what I did yesterday. Anyways, you'll see. So she uses Sumi ink, all that fun stuff, what she calls scripting. So you'll see. I put I don't know what's the best way. I started with, oh, these are my style crusty bits from this morning. So that just go. Oh yeah. So I started with fun with ink on my plate. This is Jane Davenport ink. There's some in here that's watercolor. I can't remember. I just started layering like she does, soft layers, thin layers. There's some of her glazing. I did the Sumi thing that she shows. Again, check out her playlist. Such wonderful inspiration over there. I honestly, I jelly plated with her for hours yesterday. So thank you, Robin, for the inspiration. So all I used was a brush, my brayer, papers, inks, paints, very few stencils. This morning I incorporated some stencils, but I used these plates, you know. I always want to say Rocky Mountain picture show. Rocky Mountain art show. It's not. I'm combining a whole bunch of different things. Hey Jen. If I don't go faster, we'll be here forever because I jelly plated a lot. So you'll see the blacks. A lot of the black stuff is Sumi ink, and like I said, I used that whole bottle of Moon Shadow Mist. So when I was putting down some of the watercolor or some of the Jane Davenport inks, or sometimes I added some acrylic inks. Oh, I can't wait to watch. I'm gonna watch that. It's on my to watch today, Eileen. So it was interesting. It was interesting. So, anyways, I used those plates, but really, everything else was just. Sometimes I used a scraper maybe, or one of the catalyst tools. I'm gonna put these. Where can I put these? Oh, I'm putting them right here. So you'll see some of the spray. I sprayed on a plate, and then she uses lots of gold stuff. So a lot of the colors I use the same things. Mostly because I had them on my desk from when Patty was talking about them, or made me use them for Stencil Saturday. So the PBOs, mostly the green, yellow, and that other blue one. I just used what was on my desk to begin with. A little bit of black, some of the Dynaflow. This tube. Look at this, my friends. Bad news. It came off, like the whole lid came off. Anyways, it's empty. It's like there's like one big snot tube in there. Anyway, I tried to use this up, so I used a lot of Liquitex Basics and a lot of this little guy, Liquitex Soft Body in Iridescent Rich Gold, because Robin uses a lot of glazing and a lot of gold, so I used a lot of that. So some of these gold parts, it's hard to tell whether it was the spray from. Sorry if I'm not watching Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, which is delicious. Cedar Canyon plates. Yeah. They're fun. But you'll see sometimes I used a palette knife here. I used actual black paint. So some of these things are Sumi ink, some of these things are black paint. So that was fun. Like I said, I dripped both red Liquitex Basics, which is acrylic ink, and some of it was Jane Davenport. There's some of Robin's scripting where I put the Sumi ink in a glazing layer. Like I said, go check out her channel. on our Jelly Decks playlist. Start from the first one, and you can watch all of these fun, like some of the first layers. But the first layers with watercolor, I mixed in the spray, and it's not going to show up. Maybe there. See this little splatter over here? Excuse my dirty hands. I've been arting. See that? So I mixed, but like, see, she does, you guys know me, I do the crusty bit technique where I like to build up layers on my plate and do one full print. This is all one pull, right? So I'll layer all my crusty bits up, and she has different language. It was funny to hear her, the different things that she says compared to say what I've always said. It's crusty bits. She talks about stories. Oh, it's so funny. Not funny. It was awesome. Not funny. Anyways, you know what I mean, Vern. So some of it's that spray mixed in. So as I was watching her, right, and incorporating some of her techniques, well, then of course I've got to incorporate some of my own, right? So intentionally letting some parts dry and some parts not. And I figured I could cut these down. So I worked on these, I don't know, about 8 different prints. Hey, Mary Beth. 8 different prints all at once. See some of her scripting there. Obviously didn't have it dark enough. The ink. Oh, that's some of my jelly. My crusty bit, what I would call crusty bits. Did that this morning. I did this one this morning with the Dyna PBO Dyna Flows. Aha! So it's doing, and then that's more of Robin's technique on the end. But this is some layer. I'm still working on layers on this one. So there's some sprays on here. Some, I don't know. Oh, I do know. That's acrylic ink, Liquitex acrylic ink. Making a interesting mess here with my coffee stencil. So after I did those initial, there's a couple more still. Did I already show these ones? More of a scripting layer there. Oh, one moment. Simon's booting up. I'm streaming.
Oh, whoops. Oh, sorry.
He's gonna go online and screw up my play his game. So I have some interesting texture with. I was also jelly plating in my art journal because if I bust out the jelly plate, I'm gonna be busting out this comp book that I've been using. So lots of different things going on there. But I don't even know if I should. No, I did. I did this one this morning. More of my intentional one pull type crusty bit. I love how that one turned out. Hard to see. I had one nasty crusty bit on the wrong type of crusty bit. The wrong type of crusty bit on that one. Oh, and these ones I'm still working on. There's my crusty bit. What I call. Where you can see the intentional layers I did in the middle. Extra crusty bits down here. But after my second round watching Robin, and I did all these jelly papers we're going to go through, I decided to bust out these, whatchamacallers? Legal pads. So I ripped off a whole bunch of things, sheets from the legal pad. And I did the same thing, inks, watercolors. That's acrylic on top. Multiple layers. Some of what she would call I call scribbling. I don't know if she would call it scripting because she does these wonderful like actual characters where she would, actually lifts her brush. Where I watched somebody once and I can't remember. I want to say her channel name is Peacock and Parakeet. Does that sound familiar? Anyways, it was her that kind of inspired me to do those squiggly things a while ago. But look at how fun. So some of her scripting with Sumi inks. And then you see I do all the, like, I did her layers with the glazes. Intuitive scripting. I love it. It was fun. It was fun with the Sumi ink when I used some foam stamps on some of those layers because these papers went through a lot as well. Like I said, I was trying to use up that blue because the tube was broken. Some Sumi ink, some glazes that not much came out. And here I tried to use instead of crusty bits. Instead of Sumi ink, I was using the Liquitex Pyro Red Liquitex ink, which is supposed to be opaque. Some of it didn't come off the plate. Some of it I actually put it on a brush. Some splots. More of that. Some interesting textures going on here. That's where I started mixing my technique with hers, leaving like intentionally large pieces of crusty bits on the plate. Interesting. And it's hard to, like, all of this is shiny, either from the gold paint or, well, like I said, I used about a whole bottle of this Moonshadow Mist, so sorry. Everybody wasn't watching on. I used a lot of Sumi ink yesterday. I need to buy myself a new bottle. So I made a whole bunch of like muddy type of, but I know Joyceage is gonna love these because she'll look deep into this and be, oh, my camera doesn't like it either. There's lots of layers of stuff on this. No. Oh yeah. So there's some fun stuff on the masking paper. That's what it's called. So you see how those are those Liquitex ink that Pyro Red I just showed. Some of her intuitive scripting with the Sumi ink here, which act differently obviously on the I also use a Liquitex shimmery blue. This one, Liquitex Cerulean Blue Hue, which is shimmery. Something like that. Oh, I like how this one worked. This is where I started mingling my hints of scripting there, lots of crusty bits. None of these have PTP Goldie bits on it though. I was just catching up with that video this morning. I think it was like, I'm on episode number 14. So that's a fun bit of something scripting on the back. There's an interesting texture I got out of my comp book. Like I said, I didn't use very little stencils. It was mostly, other than those that one for this one mask, I did use a lot. Well, this is just a cleanup paper that I use on the edge of my plates because some 8.5 by 11 paper, you get that extra inch on the top because my plate's 12 by 14. And then also a couple of these ones. Like I said, Joyce loves these type of extra layered. So these ones I put off to the side for Joyceage. I'm sure she'll find something fun to do with them. On the other side, there's some ink, and there's some Sumi ink where I didn't script. I just kind of like stamped my brush down here. There's some scripting up there. Oh, that looks like a P, unintentionally. That one. This is another. It's a darker print, but she'll add a bunch of layers on there, I'm sure. This is one. What did I must have used another blue. Oh, I don't. I used the Prussian blue hue ink in there. Under that mask. Come on. My camera doesn't like any of this. Well, my camera doesn't like anything. My camera doesn't like it. This is a fun one that I tried just to clean up print from my plate. Not gonna show it. All of these are shimmery, crusty bits, and then another cleanup one. There's some set of script with the Sumi ink. I did some swirls or circles or something. But there's a little shimmer on here too. Hard to tell. So of course, I also had to do some stuff in a comp book. Ooh. Uh-oh. Did I glue it in? Yep. Pretty much. Perfect. Yep. So I did some in my comp book. A little bit of hot mess. Ooh, before that, I also found these. They're 4x6. Oh, man. So we went to, my friend Karen and I, on our way to the club scrap retreat in like 2002 or 2003. Is it in Wisconsin? Or Ohio. Hollow's Paper Crafts. Hollow's, I think it was called. Where you could buy paper by the pound. Anyways, this is a long time ago. It was 20 years ago. Anyway, so I've had this 4x6 poster board, this stack that I bought from Hollow's a long time ago. So it's, it's shiny it's like almost sticky. It's coated obviously on top. So you got to be careful. You don't want it to like completely glue to your plate. And then the other side, it's just this. But let me tell you, the stuff that I could pull off my plate with these bad boys. Let's see. Will it focus on anything? Nope, not gonna focus on me. Ding, ding, ding. Doesn't like it. Kinda. It's too much reflection going on. But it really pulled up the crusty bits on because I guess it's sticky. But I guess you gotta be careful. You don't want to glue your sheet right down to the right down. I should laugh. It could happen. There's one that's just so some of Robin's glazing layers. But then I did the cleanup print with black, and it really. And then I stamped some stuff, but there's also sprays mixed in. So if you see some of that gold, it's not just gold paint. It's the glimmer from the moon shadow. Cosmic Shimmer Opal. Oh boy. Thanks, Jan. Hey, Gina. It's interesting stuff. So I think it's the sprays that, I don't know. Like I said, I used some gold. I used this gold soft body from Liquitex, the iridescent rich gold, but I think some of this is from the sprays. There's some blue crusty bits I picked up from that. But if you want to clean your plate, let me tell you this stuff. Is this if your plate's slightly tacky? And I've just started printing on the back, which I don't think I'll have the same result on the back as I did on the front. So I did do a couple of those as well. My phone. Oh, there's another one. See some of the glazing. Like I said, I was busy. And then this morning. So this morning I was playing with the inks again. Inks and scripting. I don't know. My plate must have had bubbles under it. I was having trouble this morning. This came out cool, but this was definitely unintentional. And so I'm working on these ones. These ones I just did this morning. So more ink. You see, I added my stencil in the background there. Some more of that plate. I did some on this rice paper Patty made me buy. This has some interesting textures from those texture plates and acrylic inks. Oh, Lindsay, my shoulder still hurts. I did all of, like I said, I did all of this standing up, and I never. Oh, it does a show. I never art standing up, but man, did I have to like. Huh. Anyway, try not to think about it. Also, started laying on this. This is more Robin inspired, but man, I tried to break it up, but then I just went back to that normal scribble I've been doing for a couple years. You know what I mean? Like, but it was fun. I don't know what the heck that is. All right. So, like I said, I also did some in comp books. So just a little bit. Sometimes I just press that to my plate. This is that comp book that I had lettering in. So I was playing around with that texture plate and the different paints and inks. I just put some things on the side. I was also doing some layers in this comp book. There's some of the scripting that I placed my journal right on my plate. And you'll see some of the Moon Shadow Mist sprays on top of that. So you can definitely tell where we've put glazing and where we haven't. So again, go watch Robin McClendon here on YouTube. That's just where I was braying off, I suppose. More this. No, I sprayed that the other day. Oh yeah, the other day I was spraying that Moon Shadow Mist. So then on top of that, if you remember, I just sprayed the page with it. On top of that, I placed my whole book on a Robin McClendon scripting, glazing typey thing with the Sumi ink layer. So that came out kind of interesting. There's no gesso on here. There was nothing. It needs some red. It needs some red. But that's looking good so far. I haven't done anything on that other side. So I worked a bit in here as well. Let's see. I kind of just randomly either stamped my book onto my plate or sometimes I stamped the texture plate into my book. Let's see. You might not even be able to tell. I'm gonna add some foam stamps. So while I was, oh yeah, here's one. I did a lot of work on this page. I'm definitely getting some fun textures going on here. Sometimes I was stamping my journal into my book, onto my plate, and sometimes I was stamping, the texture plate onto my book. But there's some crusty, but it's like this blue is from stamping my book onto the plate, where this cream is from stamping the plate onto the book. It was hard because I was working with acrylic, so I didn't want things to stick together, and I wasn't really drawing anything. And here's some. I stamped this right onto my plate with some of her scripting glaze layer. I don't know if you guys are just so mesmerized by what I did or if my chat is frozen. Drink some coffee, Paula. But I really like how that looked. It's just an extra layer on top of, we've got bleach, we've got gesso and inks, and it's just another layer of goodness. I need to add some to this. This gold, hold the fort. Let me take a sip of coffee. Oh, there goes Mary Beth. I stamped this right in my journal. So remember, my journal's been, it's been through a few complete soakings and back. So the paper is, it's lumpy, my friend. So it's interesting when you actually press my journal, when I press my journal onto my plate, not only do I get a cool texture for on the plate, I'm going to show that later tonight. By the way, it's Wednesday. I'll be on at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. I start at 9 for a pre-chat. We're going to be doing some jelly plating, a little bit of, this type of thing, and a little bit of my type of thing. I'm going to, kind of show how I use my comp book in conjunction with my jelly plate to make different prints all around. Some of these were not stamped on my plate. Some of these textures came off my comp book. So we'll be doing that tonight, Wednesday, over here on YouTube. Let's see. Some black acrylic that didn't show up too much. And sometimes there was black Sumi ink on my leftover on my brush. So I haven't found any yet. So I did kind of do some scribbling with that. Again, still haven't found any yet. Oh, here. Some of this is by pressing my book onto my plate. Some of this is just leftover Sumi ink on my brush. Nothing. My UT. I added some blue. This is from Liquitex acrylic ink. I don't know if you can see those triangles from the texture plate. So one thing I really came to mind and brought to my heart watching Robin McClendon yesterday was a lot of her jelly plating. If you remember, especially if you remember way back, Carrie did a lot of this, right? But not with like glazing layers. She always had saved the Carrie, love Carrie. She saved her glazing layer to like the, in a pickup print. But do you remember, like, she always did all those layers, but mostly with craft paints, and then she would pick up the final layer. But she would all have a whole bunch of things going on, and she would stencil here and put that one over there, and it really reminded me of Carrie and the way she jelly plated, but different because Robin adds a little bit thinner layers, and she added obviously more water media. But it was a really I had a good memory about that yesterday. Some of this black was just that was some Sumi. No, I can't tell because remember I put Sumi ink in here too. So that's more Robin McClendon inspired intuitive scripting, as Patty says. Hi, Kathy. That was fun. I was just I wasn't using one of my other brushes because the way Robin does it, your brush could come in contact with acrylic paint. Again, go check out her playlist. I watched the Jelly Decks. She has a Jelly Decks. Is that what it's called? Jelly Decks? I'm pretty sure. Oh, my sweet goodness. Anyways, I watched the playlist and you'll learn all these things. So she used one of the calligraphy brushes, but I was using a Cosmetop Spin number 8. One of these cat's tongue ones, I think they're called. Because I know I might get some acrylic in it. I don't want to use my fanciest brushes. Anyways, that's the one I ended up using. And I just held it like really light. I'm still afraid of the other of the calligraphy brushes. I really am. So again, I stamped. You can see just faintly. You can see some of the scripting from when I stamped this onto my plate with the Sumi ink on my plate. That's our UT. Nothing going on there. Am I going backwards? Is my book upside down right now? I don't know if this book has a right side up. I thought I had. This is really coming together. This looks like a mountain to me now. This looks like a mountain. Anyway, totally unintentional. Some scribbly scribbles, scribbly scribbles. Nothing. This one I pressed onto my plate a couple times. Rolled the brayer over it. But again, it's so lumpy bumpy that when you roll a brayer over it, it's just picking up the high points, which some people don't like that. It's a little grungy. Bye, Patty. Thanks for the recommendation. I enjoyed my time yesterday being inspired by Robin. And I did a lot. That's it. That's it. That's all. Did I show you this one? More my regular crusty bit. I pulled this with cream, and you can really tell the final pull. I used unbleached titanium, and it really muted the whole thing. If I had pulled it with white on top of this white cardstock, it would have been spectacular. I'm printing on these. So anyways, I've kept myself busy. I hope everybody else has or was productive in the past couple of days. Hi, Virginia, you're home? Oh, that's wonderful. I really enjoyed it, Patty. Like mixing everybody's styles together. I definitely learned a lot and inspired a lot, and I definitely created a lot, and I'm probably missing a couple of things. There's probably other random. Oh yeah, I've got layers of something going on here. Gelliplate. These are the deli papers that my good friend Jan sent me, or excuse me, gave me at the first. Oh, there's a hot mess going on here. Hot mess going on there. I'm still working on these deli papers. I guess that's why they're over here. And I've got start. Well, pull up stuff from yesterday. Anyways, that's all I have to show you. Oh, I got updates. I got my table this morning. I was so excited about that. Simon, maybe you might be. No, probably not. Probably not putting it together out there. And I got an email saying that they printed the shipping label for my new computer after, 3 weeks? I've finally been patient. So, but they haven't taken the money back out of my account. I don't know. Hopefully one day it'll get here. The shipping label was created, but it hasn't been, actually shipped. So I don't know if they're having a problem recharging my card because, the 10-day hold went off of it because they didn't ship it within 10 days. Did I show you this gold one? A couple layers of gold and cream and black. Hard to show on camera. My crusty bits. I was playing with Robin's on the other technique on the other side. Oh yeah, I did show those. These ones I'm still, like I said, I started these ones this morning. There's more work to be done on that. This is an interesting. Ooh. Like I said, I've been busy. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these. Cut them down. Plus all the deli papers. Oh boy. I was productive. Hi, Malia. So anyways, I just came on to share a little bit of this, to say hello, hopefully, and hopefully everybody was doing well. Oh, look, I just looked down and saw a owl. But now I also look like a concerned man with a mustache. At first I saw an owl, like there's this, Anyway, we can look at. I hope to see you guys tonight, 9:30 Eastern Time, over on the Journal Artista channel. Thank you for being here, everyone. Much love, my friends.